So what you are seeing here is something quite remarkable. This footage here is from a $30 USB microscope. I found this thing on eBay. I don't exactly remember why I bought it. I think it was because I wanted to look at the internal mechanism of a cheap Chinese mechanical watch that I also found on eBay some time ago. And the reason why I was so adamant to look at this thing is because it had stopped working. Now, the reason why it had stopped working is because the pins were very worn out and the jewels themselves were very worn out, so the gear train wasn't able to mesh as effectively. You can see in this also cheap electric quartz watch that the pins don't need to be very accurate to the points in the watch, the bearing mounts, in order to be operational. You can see in the shaky camera here, this gear is still rotating, and this watch still tells very accurate time. It's been telling fairly accurate time for about the 6 or 7 years that I've had this watch. But at the end of this, I'm going to show you the camera, and I'm going to show you the other stuff there, and all the little features that the camera has. There's some idiosyncrasies that I do want to show. Just here you can see some of the contact patches just in the watch there. Right there is just another gear. With this camera you can get a fairly decent footage of this. It has its own lighting mechanism, LEDs in the camera, and as you can see, with a little bit of finagling, you can get a fairly decent resolution with this camera. Towards the end of here, we're just going to sort of switch to the additional footage, but just bear with me. So this gear here is actually moving incredibly slowly. It just because it's so zoomed in so closely, you can still see that it's still in operation. You can see here the camera itself. I've got this clammed to a scooter wheel and a piece of aluminium plate just so I can get it more perpendicular to the watch. But here I'm just showing you the mechanism just here. This is the zoom mechanism. I don't really pay much attention to the numbers on there. They don't really make so much sense to me. Right there is the lens, so that part there moves in and out quite a distance. You can also see the LEDs on there. You can see that it has several modes of brightnesses. That clear piece of plastic on the end can be removed if you want to get closer. You can see the arm here is quite, it does have quite a bit of movement. Right there is the LED button, and just there is the snap button. So you can take a snapshot of whatever it is you're looking at there. One of the big grievances is that first I would like for the LED buttons and the zoom function to be on the cable, because when you're zoomed in so closely, the mechanism does tend to move around, and that base does need a lot of additional weight to there. So right here, there is the watch, and I'm just trying to find some tools here so I can show you exactly what it is that I was looking at. I'm just trying to experiment here with a torch, but I've got the smallest little flathead that I can find, and it's pointing to a very tiny speck right near the battery. It is so small, it is almost a pixel width as far as resolution goes. That is what I was looking at in the beginning.